Hello, and welcome back to the Echowood, the cozy corner of the internet where I overthink everything and somehow create art in the process. I recently hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I am still losing my mind about it. If you follow me over there, or if you've seen my YouTube shorts, you already know that I love a good, silly voiceover, so I thought to myself, maybe a sprinkle of chaos is exactly what my long-form content needs. So today we're trying something new, a cozy vlog meets my slightly chaotic artist brain, and let's see what happens. Just doing a quick tidy of my office so I can feel like a mildly functioning adult. Here I am gently restoring order, or possibly just avoidance cleaning, you never can tell. It's actually quite impressive what rearranging your space and wiping some mystery crumbs off your desk can do for your mental health. I make the long journey to my 3-season porch. Kindly ignore the edge of my tripod that is in every single shot. I've been wanting to turn this green desk into a cute little drawing corner for a while. I got this desk for free because I live in the type of neighborhood where elderly people leave things at the end of their driveway when they don't want it anymore. This particular neighbor has furnished half of my porch. I'm hoping this little corner will encourage me to draw daily. You know, sometimes you just have to move your art supplies to a new location and pretend you're a whole new person with no creative blocks and perfect posture. Are these professional grade colored pencils? No. Are there better quality pencils out there? Yes. But the packaging does say that they are preferred by teachers, and that is all the testimonial that I need. I took these colored pencils from their original container and transferred them to yet another container for the sole reason is that it makes me happy. Is it necessary? No, but I find it mildly therapeutic and aesthetically pleasing, plus it helps me resist the urge to buy new supplies. Please just let me have this one, okay? I love looking up pictures of artist cottage studios on Pinterest. Do I need an entirely separate setup for when I feel like drawing instead of using my iPad so I can feel like a forest witch? Probably not. I think every artist deserves a tiny nook where they can, hoard broken pencils, dried paint palettes, and have unrealistic expectations, and you know what? This is mine. I don't know if this brush is just a byproduct of poor quality control or if it's actually supposed to look like that. Let me know in the comments if you're a watercoloring expert. I'm thinking about making a series where I just draw random treasures around my house, starting strong with this random fake plant. Yes, I am sketching with a mechanical pencil. Have you seen this economy? I admit it does sometimes make me feel like I'm doing algebra homework. My expectations for my sketching usually starts high, but then my standards rapidly decline and I pretend my mistakes were intentional. I'm trying to use this as more of a warm-up technique, especially when I feel stuck and don't always know what to draw. I feel like it makes you use a different part of your brain. Going back to traditional art after only using digital is humbling to say the least. Sometimes I find myself arranging my supplies like I'm about to create a masterpiece, but then I start coloring and I'm like, uh-oh, how do I use colored pencils again? I'm realizing that I don't have the colors to match this exactly, so we are just winging it. I also forgot that colored pencils don't really blend. Coloring always starts off as relaxing, but then I'm gripping the pencil so hard I'm getting a hand cramp, and I've pretty much just flattened the entire tip of the colored pencil. At this point, I'm actually pretty happy with the plant's cuteness level, and I'm just trying not to ruin her. Just in case you didn't see it the first 20 times I showed you, here it is again, showing off my muse one last time. I make myself a quick lunch of a bagel with hummus. I do not have a green thumb, but I do have a small garden where my cilantro and basil is out of control, so you bet I'm gonna put those herbs on absolutely everything. I often choose my beverages based on its graphic design merit. Cute packaging can see me coming a mile away. Next, I'm tackling the second fake plant. I must have been very inspired by plants that day. Sometimes I get too into digital drawing and it's nice to go back to basics. You don't know how many times I've tried to zoom in on the paper like it's an iPad. I feel like my art process is equal parts inspiration and meltdown. We live somewhere between let's just see what happens and I have made a terrible mistake. 1 minute I can be confidently sketching the leaves on a plant, and then the next I'm questioning everything because the shading looks weird and now the leaf looks sad and I feel responsible for that. But somehow if I just keep going through the overthinking, it's like a little magic still shows up. And that part never stops surprising me. I think we forget sometimes that making art doesn't have to be like this epic, like super talented thing. Like you don't need a perfect vision or perfect tools. Sometimes all you need is a mechanical pencil and a quiet moment to yourself and the willingness to try, even if your brain is trying to tell you that it's absolutely terrible. Something you might not know about me is I have a mild obsession with cute mugs. Sometimes people will say to me, "Don't you think you have enough mugs?" And I'm like, no, I do not. I think I have just the right amount of mugs for my lifestyle. Thank you very much. I've learned that with colored pencils, the trick is layering light pressure. I just build up color until it starts to resemble the thing I meant to draw. This is me in real time, realizing that the mechanical pencil eraser does not, in fact, erase. Oh, here we go again. Drawing a mug sounds simple until you realize that it has curves and reflections and like a weird little lip thing that never looks quite right. But I have learned to stop obsessing over the perfection and just kind of focus on values. Like, not like moral values, obviously, just like lights and darks. Just to make it look shiny instead of flat. Also, do not forget to hydrate while you're drawing your vessel of hydration. I would like to briefly interrupt your regular scheduled programming to tell you about my Echowood Kickstart pack. This is for anyone who is just getting started with digital art or anyone who is feeling stuck and needs a creative reset. It comes with 13 brushes, 5 digital papers, and over 50 clip art assets. There's a starter kit ebook and a workbook packed with exercises to get you drawing again. Plus a mini routine builder template for those with busy schedules and not a lot of time to draw. If you would like to learn more about this pack, check out the link in the description. I need to have some sort of reference when I draw. While I do have quite the imagination, it is really difficult for me to draw from memory, and since I do not have a great eraser right now, it is making me very intentional with my sketch lines. I find myself thinking more about where the lines are going on the paper before I lay them down. Coloring it in is an entirely different story. Trying to stay within the sketch lines with all the accuracy of a blunt Crayola. I think once I start sketching, there is no object with an eyesight that is safe. I always try to tell people who get discouraged and think their art isn't very good, like, you are making something from nothing. Like, it's okay if it looks weird. It's okay if your lines aren't straight. It's fine if your sketchbook or iPad is, 70% ideas that you abandoned. Who cares? It is still art. Even through the chaos and overthinking, something really cool comes out of it. So let's make art, laugh through the stress, and pretend we're not constantly questioning our life choices. Because showing up and creating and trying again, even when your last piece of art didn't cooperate or, your self-doubt got loud, let's romanticize the chaos. Please keep showing up for yourself. It is brave. It is progress. That's the kind of quiet courage that people don't always appreciate. Some days, art feels like things are working and really coming together. Other days, it feels like trying to wrestle motivation out of your brain and scribbling absolute nonsense. And honestly, that's where the good stuff usually sneaks in, right after the meltdown. Even when it feels clunky, that's where growth and momentum happens. I feel like this porch studio is about to become my entire personality for the next several weeks. I will be sketching, sipping iced coffee, and forgetting about my laundry. Sorry if you didn't need this little emotional pep talk, but it is so easy to get stuck in your head and think your art doesn't matter because it didn't turn out exactly how you imagined. My stuff never turns out how I imagined. Would it be easier if it did? Sure, but that's not realistic. It's the quiet, imperfect stuff. The doodles, the color tests, the just playing around sketches. That is where you find your style and your spark. And maybe no one else sees it, but that doesn't mean it's not real. The work you're doing in the background counts. So whether you're on your third coffee or your third sketch attempt today, keep going, keep drawing. Trust that it all adds up, even if it's a little messy along the way.